Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we've got the sound system demo on the 2022 Maserati MC20 and its 12-speaker Sonus Faber audio system. This is going to be an in-depth review. We're going to take a look at how the infotainment system works, take a look at audio adjustments, inputs, controls, speaker locations, then we're going to head out on the road and listen to these sample tracks while we're rolling, and I'll give you my thoughts at the end. Now, if you don't care about any of that stuff at the beginning and you just want to hear the music, click ahead in the video. We've got chapters to get you right to the tunes. And I recommend listening with headphones so you can hear exactly what I hear in the driver's seat. Before we get started, let's hop out and take a look at this. Now, I gotta say, ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited about testing this system. It's the first Sonus Faber system in an automobile, and it is in this super cool Maserati MC20 supercar. I mean, this thing looks so unique, such a presence, this beautiful white paint job on here. Haven't driven it much yet, but I have been playing around with the sound system and it sounds really good, so I'm excited to test it more and show it off to all of you. I may do a members only sound test. I'm not sure. It kind of depends on how much time I have sharing it with the other guys here in California. But if you do want to see more on the car, check the link in the description. Of course, we're going to be doing a DM review with Chris. We'll have a winding road test drive, a whole bunch of cool coverage on the car. This carbon fiber, this thing is really sweet. Now, we always do these tests with lossless, uncompressed WAV files on a USB stick plugged directly into the system, and high-quality Roland binaural microphones in both of my ears, giving you the most realistic audio system demo on YouTube. We also do the test with the sound settings set to their factory defaults, so let's take a look at those now. Interesting infotainment screen here in the MC20 in that it's canted a little bit down. I wish I could kind of take it and just rotate it up a little bit, but it also doesn't help that the driver's seat is bolted in one position. So I'm sitting very upright. It's a very driver-focused position, and it does make for a little bit of a weird angle for this infotainment system, but the infotainment screen actually works really well. You've got some navigation on the left-hand side here. So for example, you can go home, see some things, but let's go down to media, over to audio settings, very straightforward. You start with a front, rear, left, right, fader, and balance. Very easy to move the sound around, etc. Get that back in the center. Then you have bass, mid-range, and treble for EQ. Let's go through those now. Below that, you have an adjustment for speed-adjusted volume. As you increase vehicle speed, the volume of the music will pick up to compensate for it. And below there, you've got a surround sound on and off mode. We're going to toggle that on as this next track gets going, so you can kind of hear what it's like on and off. It does sort of enable these back speakers a little bit more, and it's a pretty decent surround setting from what I've experienced so far listening to it. And that's all you have for audio adjustments. I also want to show you, well, actually it's not plugged in right now. You can't have CarPlay going and use the USB, so I can't quite show you CarPlay at the moment. Maybe we'll do that in a minute here. Now that the song's picking up, I'll turn it up for a second. We'll do surround on and off. It's definitely a more true to recording sound with surround off. There's a bit of echo with surround on, but it sounds nice when you're listening to quieter, easier listening music. You want more of that full sound. For audio controls in the MC20, you have a volume knob here. It's in a decent spot. Your hand naturally rests a bit further forward, so you do kind of have to move it back to adjust, but it's not too bad, and both the driver and passenger can get to it pretty easily. You also have a nice volume slider on the right side of the wheel. I like to have that. For track selection, you can either use the media screen if you're on that screen there. You can rotate the volume knob back and forth, a very efficient way to do track selection, but I don't see any sort of way to adjust track from the media screen, so it's a little bit of a bummer. You can push the volume knob to mute it, but I don't see any way to do that. Not that it's hard to reach over here or anything, but just something to know. For audio inputs in the MC20, you have your standard AM, FM, Sirius XM satellite radio, Bluetooth, support for wireless Apple CarPlay. I don't know if there's wireless Android Auto. Maybe it shows me on a build sheet here. Let me take a quick look. If I can't find it here, no, it's not in there. I'll put right below here in the description. I assume you can get wireless Android Auto as well. And then you have a USB-A and a USB-C port in there. It's nice to have both of those. What does that mean? Well, and I should say there is an Alexa streaming service, so it's possible that you could have more sort of streaming, maybe a Spotify built in if they added that, etc. So what does that mean you're missing? Well, no 3.5mm auxiliary input jack, not the end of the world. Other than that, you've got just about everything you're gonna want. Speaker locations. As I said, this is a 12 speaker system. Starting in the bottom left, so open up the door, you've got a woofer there, 1, mid-range 2, tweeter 3, or maybe the mid-range is up here. Either way, you got those 3 in the door. 4, 5 mid-range tweeter up front, 6, 7, 8 on the other door, and then 9, 10 mid-range and tweeter, and 11, 12 on the other side. Like I said, these are a little bit more active in surround, but they're still working even with the surround mode off. Also, I want to show you how CarPlay looks here. So it's a very high resolution, and it's actually kind of tough to press some of these buttons. They're very small. Oops, some of the music I'm listening to there. But when you can click them right, it does look really good, and I'm glad that they made it respond pretty well. Works pretty nicely. I'm going to listen to this system for the next few days and evaluate lots of different types of music and driving experiences, and then cut back to later on in this video out on highway speeds, giving you my final thoughts and evaluating some songs. considered, it takes a while to turn this volume down. All things considered, I'm really happy with the sound system. What I really like and appreciate in a car like this is the power it provides. A lot of these type of sound systems, you listen to them stop, and they sound really good, but then you get any sort of wind and road noise, which you often have in more of a supercar situation like this, and they fall on their face. Now, this one is missing a little bit of the precision from something that's super, super top tier and high end, so you are losing some elements of your music when you're traveling at higher speeds. But I am impressed with the overall power and ability of these speakers. Now, I did find myself doing a little bit of tuning. I don't know if I can safely get it going here on this road, but I can tell you that I did bump the bass up a few clicks. I took the mid-range and the treble down one, and that did help a little. That made for a more well-balanced listening experience in my ears. Now, everyone's going to have their own preferences. Man, look at that view. But that's what I would go for. For this next song, I usually turn the bass all the way up. We might need to pause for a moment, though. We should have a straight section of road here. Let me see. Audio is way down there. Audio settings, equalizer, bass all the way up. There we go. A little bit of sloppiness on the bass when it's turned all the way up. A lot of crispness still, but you can hear it. Yeah, still getting some of that slop. So that's not fantastic. My thoughts on the Sonus Faber sound system here in the Maserati MC20. As supercars go, this is up near the top, even just for sports cars. The fact that that's not the priority of a car like this, not a bunch of space to fit in big subwoofers and everything like that, this car really does a great job at having a full and powerful sound. Now, that being said, I think the EQ could be a little bit different, and you are missing out on those heavier bass hits when you really crank it up. I don't blame the car, I don't blame the company. It's just something from an objective standpoint compared to all other sort of vehicles, you have to keep that in mind. So that being said, for sound quality, this is just barely squeaking in with an A. It is really, really impressive when you listen to it statically. Don't get me wrong, I was blown away when I first listened to it, but the more time you spend with it and driving it at speed, there are the compromises. So just know, for a car like this, it's near the top. It's really, really impressive. all things considered, objective sound quality, it's coming in at the low end of an A, about a 90%. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the MC20 and these beautiful cars and roads all around us here, check the link in the description. This very well may be one of the most beautiful sound tests we've ever recorded. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.